We are at the Centre of Excellence in Pretoria and we are catching up with a couple of Proteas. Izinja zaseKZN. Jeds, Lungi, Andile, how are we doing?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a while. Yeah, just enjoying being out in Pretoria.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've been here for a couple of weeks now, so I'm starting to feel like home. But it's nice to have the guys here with me now, so it feels a bit more, like the team's together.
I mean, a lot of us don't know what generally happens when it comes to these camps. Can you guys take us through what you actually been doing since you've been here in Pretoria?
Yes, yeah.
Day one is always the day. We arrived, obviously we had a chat with coach and then straight into fitness. We ran a Bronco, yeah. And then from there, obviously we split into our groups, bowlers, batters, all-rounders, and then we get down to business, yeah.
Yeah, then there's also a little bit of catching up with a couple of guys that you obviously haven't seen. Working on a few things that you can advance of your game and just prep in terms of the conditions that you're going to be facing.
I'm really interested to actually know where Ngidi found himself. He mentioned all-rounders, bowlers, batters. I know he fancies himself a little bit. Which group did you start in?
No, I think he's slowly but surely heading towards the all-rounder now. I think I've seen him with the bat. I always try to convince him, but he's a tough cookie. He doesn't like batting at times. Maybe the practicing batting, but I think he's been very... He's done well for us a couple of times when we've needed him with the bat. He's got potential. He just needs to work on a few things.
You know, in soccer, generally the guys are 29, but they're still saying he's a youngster. Yeah. I hope that's not what they're saying with your batting still.
No. I find it boring, man. To be honest with you, I genuinely find it boring.
That's when it's easy. See, the game is easy for him, clearly, if it's boring.
My back starts to ache, forearms, nah. So, if I have to come in and hit a few, that sounds like fun. But, to tell myself that I would bat 30 to 40 overs, still got to convince myself to do that. But I do enjoy it, especially when I'm out in the middle. But the whole practice side, yeah, the guys are still trying to convince me.
Natural talent.
I mentioned earlier you guys both come from KZN, and one went to Hilton, one went to Glenwood. Mm-hmm. Talk us through, the earliest memory of you guys playing at school and of course maybe playing against each other as well.
I can't recall playing against each other against school cricket, but I think there's a lot of memories against Inland versus KZN Coastals. I think it was obviously a massive rivalry, chirping, who's the better half of the province, which schools obviously are better, but it always used to be a tough one, but it's always used to be a competitive one as well because we're friends, we're mates, grew up playing under 13 cricket together, and I think that rivalry was always good because it's, as friends, you want to see, okay, when playing against each other, who's got the the upper hand.
Yeah, it's been really good. We've been, like you said, we've been playing together for a long time now. I think we were 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's that, 16 years now?
When I used to open the bowling.
So yeah, we used to, we played a lot of cricket together. Not as much against each other, but even throughout high school, we were playing Cubs weeks together, SA under 19 together. So it's been a long road. I wouldn't say much of a rivalry, but more of a friendship, partnership throughout all the years. Yeah. And, we're still here today. So we must be doing something.
If you had to actually take something from him and he had to take something from you, what would you take from him? In terms of bowling attributes?
I think bowling attributes, I would definitely take his slow ball. Slow ball and the way he swings the ball, and I think just his consistency. But I think over the years I've also taken the off-field stuff. I think the temperament of just working hard, always being able to bounce back from hardships, and just the level-headedness that he does have when he's on the field. Those are the things that I would take from him, and I think I'd be a better cricketer than what I am now if I had those things.
No, I think I'd take from him, we always tell him this in the team, he's got a golden arm. Always the big wickets, as soon as he comes on. He doesn't leave a game without a wicket. And, that's something I've always admired about him. And then especially his batting. He's got both sides of the game. if he comes in and we're in trouble, he can bat through, but also he can finish games for us when we're under the pump and we need to actually start moving. So, you know, a complete cricketer in my eyes. So he's pretty much got the whole package. So I would take probably the batting side.
No, see, no pace. That's the problem.
That's fine. We can work on that. We can work on that. But yeah, definitely the complete package as a cricketer. So when I look at it, you know, one of the best in our country, especially with bat and ball. But I definitely take the batting side.
And then you mentioned Hilton. I mentioned Glenwood. Did you guys play any winter sports?
I did. I played hockey in winter. I was a decent hockey player.
Decent.
I was decent hockey
I saw
player.
you got into the SA, you
play
played
SA
Proteas.
I don't know.
You had to choose the hockey side. You were in that squad, I saw on social media.
I don't know. I think I enjoyed my hockey a lot. I actually got into Glenwood for hockey. To be very honest, I think if I look at it, I enjoyed my hockey really, really. Like, if I had to choose at the time, I actually got into a controversial argument once with a few coaches years back because I wanted to choose hockey. But I think if I look at it, my winter sport was hockey, and I was decent at it, and I enjoyed the fitness part, the skills part, and just the team dynamics around hockey.
I love how you're trying to downplay it. You represented South Africa in 2 sports. Now it's decent. I was okay.
So only a few,
It's just, yeah.
only a few people have done that as well.
No, I played rugby. If I wasn't playing cricket now, I'd probably be playing rugby. But, you know, I met a coach in grade 9, and he said he saw potential in me in representing South Africa one day as a cricketer. So I gave up my winter sport in grade 10. The last I played was 16A for Hilton. And that was my last season of winter sports. Other than that,
Lucky
after
didn't
that,
play against Cleveland. Lucky.
What position, by the way, both of you?
So I played 8th man in high school.
I played a little bit of rugby, played centre, wing.
You look
Hockey,
like
I
that
played striker and link.
Okay, I guess that's where the...
Reverse sweeps, yeah.
And in terms of growing up now, the people that you looked up to, I mean, could be from cricket space or outside of cricket. Who were your heroes, I guess, growing up?
I think for me, I'd have to go with my parents. You know, the backgrounds we come from, it was tough growing up. And obviously I'm aware of his background, he's aware of mine. So we come from very, very similar positions in life. And I think our parents really held it together to get us to where we are. So for me, it would have to be my parents. You know, they went through a lot, sacrificed a lot to get us to even have the opportunities that we get today. And obviously they raised us with certain morals and values. And I think we try and make them proud every day. So yeah, I'd probably have to say my parents.
Yeah, I think it's spot on there. I think if I had to look at it, raised in a single parent household with my mom. So I think she was a massive pillar of strength, supportive system. Yes, she didn't understand the sport, but I don't think that's what I needed at the time. I think just her support and her understanding where I need to be at those periods of my life. And I think off like, not in cricket, I think, in cricket, I think I'd looked up to someone called Lance Klusner, who was really someone that helped me when I just got out of school and I was still in school, giving me an opportunity at the Dolphins, and just the way he nurtured and spoke to me and supported me. It really helped me stead to understand where I want to be as a cricketer and how I want to play my cricket.
I mean, I can resonate to the both of you because being a black child in South Africa, now going to one of the most established schools in the country, I mean, Hilton and Glenwood. How was that transition, first of all, for the likes of you? Because I can remember for myself, it was crazy to go to Bishops from Kwalang, for starters. What do you remember of those earlier days transitioning from, I guess, to Hilton and then Glenwood?
For me personally, it was quite a shock to my system and the background that I'd come from. I think Margate is a small place, small town, and then the competitiveness that when I got there, seeing big schools with a lot of kids that are really talented. There was a lot of fear walking into the school, but I think once I got into my feet and I made friends, I think a lot of the coaches that were there helped quite a lot. But I think it was a lot of a culture shock as well when I really got there, because you're faced with a lot of people that are from different backgrounds, different spaces, and then you have to obviously mingle with them, understand where they come from, what gets them ticking, what doesn't, and then create those friendships. And I think that growth between my high school career and understanding all those people and where they come from helped me really well in understanding people.
Yeah, I think for me it was more daunting in the fact that, from where I came from in life, to now be at this school where you're with kids with some of the wealthiest parents in the country. You see things. I mean, you see things. I'd never seen a Ferrari or any of that stuff up close in real. Now I get to touch one because, the kids at that school and their parents can afford that sort of stuff. So it was scary for me, but I knew I was good at one thing, and that was sport. And on the sports field, we were all equal. It's whoever's skill was better would determine, who comes out on top. So in that department, that's what helped me feel at home and really comfortable, because I think people understood that, I was always going to outwork them. I was always going to compete, and I was always going to try to be the best. So, leaving the stuff off the field, that was pretty daunting. But I ended up settling in, because you actually come to find out that we're all human. When you live in a dorm with, I think, 13 guys, you start to look past all the materialistic stuff, and you get to know who the person actually is. And you realize all that other stuff doesn't matter. So maybe the first year was a little bit scary, but then after that, it was smooth sailing right to the end.
I'm going to change gears a little bit here, and I mentioned earlier that it isn't just a game. And the KZN guys are renowned for their style. I'm not sure if it's dress code or sneaker game. You guys will explain to us, because there's one thing when you see in South African cricket, I think there's a concerted effort from KZN guys to be well dressed. Talk us through that.
You take this.
I think this also just plays a part. I think when I first got into the team, I had a good friend called Pani, who took me under his wing. So I think slowly but surely understood, try to take care of yourself, look good, dress well. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I do have a good sense and style. At times, I've taken him under my wing as well.
Don't do that.
But yeah, it's been interesting. I think when you think about all the clothes you can wear, you can be creative around it. You can market in terms of who you are as a person, and you can just go with whatever style you'd like. And I think that's also being fashionable and understanding what fits for you and in the culture.
I'm really interested in your answer.
Yeah, look, I'm not as out there with the fashion game as my friend here. But for me, I think it's just more about presenting myself well. We do play for the national team, so you need to look at these a certain way. I mean, simple but effective is my game. The exploring comes from this side, the colors, and keep it simple, dark colors, but just try to look nice in the end.
I saw a post this week of someone walking up next to a car, trying to understand the banter. Was there some banter that you received this week?
No, there was definitely some banter. Sent a young DM asking a few questions. But no, you shall explain what I asked him.
So a lot of people didn't know this about me, but I've never disclosed that I had a license. They just never seen me driving. At the time, I never needed a car, but having moved to Waterfall side, Centurion seemed a bit far. So then I got a car. And then all of a sudden, everyone was shocked. And like, since when did you start driving?
Just the car, G-Wagon. Okay, you did that. Just the car, normal car.
0 to 100 quickly there.
Look, A to B. I mean, that's all, A to B. But yeah, a lot of people were shocked that I'm actually driving now. But I just never disclosed that that's what I do.
Your mate has also joined the Titans. I'm not sure how much convincing you did to get him over the line to get... please, first of all, explain the reason for the move and how much convincing did Lungi play in pursuing you to come to the Highveld?
Yeah, I think it's been a while. I think I've thoroughly enjoyed playing at the Dolphins. Obviously grew up there, Natal boy, school cricket, played for Natal for a couple of years, but I think it was a time for a change, different team culture, just test myself and get myself outside my comfort zone a little bit and see what else is there for me. I think there was a little bit of convincing from the boys. I'll be joining Sibs and Lungs. Obviously I've been at the Dolphins for 10 years, so that's quite a couple of years for me. I'm obviously going to miss it, but I'm more excited for the journey ahead, the hard work that will take place at the Titans. Obviously they've got a good work ethic, the culture there is good for cricket, and the pitch is obviously unbelievable.
It took 6 years.
6 years?
He's lying, he's downplaying. I've been asking him for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's finally happened. Very excited. Because we've always pushed each other, and I think for me it's going to be some new energy as well, a new face, and a high standard of cricket as well. So it is really exciting. I'm excited to see what he's going to do in the Highveld. All of a sudden the wickets are a little quicker, ball flies a bit further. You know, you can get a bit more of the wicket.
I think he needs to leave the cutters in KZN.
Leave the cutters in KZN. That's not for the Highveld.
Nah, true.
But yeah, it's really exciting, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen in this next chapter.
Last question for me. How do you guys deal with setbacks? There's been at times where make sides, don't make sides, you're injured, coming back. How do you deal with that?
Look, I think for me, I always realize what's the end goal for me. And I think if I can sit down one day and I'm telling my children that, you know what, I did everything I could to play for South Africa, and, you know, show them the memorabilia that you have, that for me gets me up again to try again. It is obviously painful to not make teams and to get injured, but at the end of the day, I have the final goal, and it's to sit around with my family one day sharing stories of what I was able to achieve, you know, wearing this badge, and hopefully to inspire my kids to chase their dreams and never give up, because if I'd given up, then would I be sitting there telling those stories? So I think for me, that's what gets me up and going again most of the time.
Yeah, I think for me, if I look at it, the way I try to reference is my upbringing. I think that's what helps me quite a lot. I think once you are tested with character, resilience, I think when you grow up in a tough environment, those things are things that you can reference when you are challenged with the setback. And at times also it's understanding that you need to just control what you can control. If you can't control something at the time, then don't try to, because then that's when you force things. But I think the other important thing is also understanding why those things are happening. There is growth in terms of why those things are happening, and learning, and not to just be too hard on yourself, but and understand that it's not just going to happen to you. It's life. It happens to everyone in the world. So it's about keeping motivated and understanding that, as Lung said, the end goal.
Yeah. And from that point, I think you couldn't have put it any better than that. Thank you so much to
Thanks, man.
Lungi, Ngidi and Andile Phehlukwayo for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.